I'm Ellie Peterson, creator of the Meditative Movement technique, here to share with you why I created the technique. I believe we are born perfect, whole, and complete. That means you are perfect, whole, and complete. It's pretty white and black. You are perfect, whole, and complete. What happens is all of us are born into unique families that already have pre-established attitudes, rules, and beliefs, and so we learn. You're here, that means you survived all of those experiences. Now the question is, what have you accumulated? And that's what I'm going to share with you. Because any unprocessed emotion, it's like a weight, and that's the analogy I'm going to use, is physically stored in your body. What that means is that when you were very young, if you had a traumatic event, even if it wasn't traumatic to your caregivers, it was to you and you weren't able to process it, it is physically stored in your body. And I'm going to share with you my story. I grew up in a large family, east side of St. Paul, and the first weight that covered up my perfect whole and completeness was fear. I was afraid I just wouldn't have enough. There's not enough love. There's not enough time. There's not enough attention. Not enough money. Not enough. And feeling that fear got locked inside of my body. Then what happened is I get to be a little older. My parents continue to have children, and I see my brother sitting on my mom's lap, and it's like, I don't like that he's there. Because in my mind, if he wasn't there, I could be there. So I start to resent the other people, and actually some anger with it. I don't want you there. I want to be there. It makes sense. Got to be a little older, go to school, and I don't know about you, when you learn about school, do you learn the difference between right and wrong? And did you believe, or were you taught that anybody that doesn't believe the same way you do must be wrong? So that, if you have that kind of mentality, as you start thinking you're superior, I'm better than you are. When in reality, that's not true. You just believe something different than someone else. Also, then I started feeling guilty. Part of it was I'm a girl, and I would have dreams, and people would say, no, you can't do that. And so I start feeling guilty, kind of that I have dreams, as well as then this is energy. And when you're little and you're trying to do what your adults are telling you to do, if you have a lot of anger that's being suppressed, at some point it's just going to blow. And so it's a vicious cycle that all of a sudden, you're doing the best you can, you've got this energy, and you don't know how to process it because your caregivers aren't giving you good ways to do that. And then a lot of despair I felt. When I was 7.5, my brother Jimmy died, and he was 3.5. So not only do I feel sad and a lot of despair, because then I realize, oh, that's going to happen to me too, and nobody's talking to me about what death means, and yet I feel it. And it churns, and it keeps me at unease. So then by the time I'm 16, I get pregnant, 17, I have my oldest daughter, Tina. By the time I'm 23, I'm divorced with a 5'3" 1-year-old. And so now I feel very unlovable. Who's gonna love me now? I feel powerless. It's like this thing called life. Everybody else seems to know all the answers, but I'm really screwed up. And I feel worthless, like I don't even deserve to be here. I have screwed up so bad. And so you can feel the weight, right, with my story. I can feel it. Others can feel it too, and actually they can make you think that it's your fault, that things aren't working out, and so you can add to the weights that I'm already carrying. Oh. And here I am at 23. I've shared with you I'm divorced. Ellie from the deli, I make $80 a week. I didn't even think I was worth getting paid $5.30 an hour. I was a smoker. That was the way. This is a hard body to be in. It's very painful to be in. So smoking was a way to help me to process that, as well as then I weighed 100 pounds and yet thought I was fat. So very disconnected. And in this process, I like to ask people, I say, so when you see me, what do you think? And most people want to fix me. And so that to me means that, oh, they want to take off some of my weights, and you can show me things, yet I think what we want to do is to really see other people's perfect whole and completeness. Because we all have our own stories, we all have our own weights. We can also start to blame. You can go to your parents and say, it's all your fault that this happened, and give them the weight, and if they take it, then they'll probably be giving it back to you again. So what I recommend is we need to be aware. We need to be aware of our past, we need to be aware of what's happening currently, and then just put those weights down. Quit giving them back and forth to anybody. Taking them off, right? You start to feel lighter. You start to feel free. Because notice, I'm the one, even though they've been given to me, I'm the one that's suffering. And you suffer too when you hold on to things that are meant to be let go. You need to process them. And what we tend to do is find some addiction, because again, this is hard to be in. We might find smoking, maybe a codependency. You find someone else that you see that's very painful or experiencing it, and you try to fix them, and you take on more weights. It can be drugs, alcohol. You can stay busy. I don't want to even pay attention to it, so you stay busy. You're on your phone all the time. You watch TV. It's really about being fully present, allowing yourself to feel what it is. And meditative movements is a technique that can help you process it, because there's releasing types of movements. Because if you know about energy, we have 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Actually, scientists say there's more. You will have a corresponding sensation in your body. How else do you know if you're happy or you're sad or you're angry? All of those are valid and good. What happens, where the problem comes in, is when you try to repress them. You physically store them in your body, or you deny them. Oh no, I'm not that. And keep in mind that you can be very gentle with yourself, because you've been taught that. You've been taught how to process these, or actually not process them. So the technique uses physical movements and releasing types of movements that allows you to feel the energy and then let it go. Now, I shared I was a smoker. The book that changed my life was You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. She taught me that I only live in the present moment, so that's where my power is. So when I'm aware of this type of energy, can I be with it? Can I let it process? Because it takes 90 seconds for that energy to process through my body. So the example that I would use, I'm frustrated. I feel the frustration. Can I do a I release frustration movement to let it process? Because if I'm frustrated longer than the 90 seconds that I feel in my body, I've reattached. And this technique is about having you become more aware. And that's what happened, because I started with the smoking. I wanted to quit smoking. It was very hard to quit smoking. I used the affirmations and was successful with that, but then I started gaining weight. And this is common too. You just pick up a different addiction, one that maybe is more acceptable. Even gambling, right? Maybe you start saying, oh, I'm gonna distract myself by gambling. So there's lots of ways, things that you can get addicted to. Back to my smoking, I was successful not smoking using the affirmations, but then I started gaining weight. And that's when I introduced movement with the affirmations and the breath. And that's when I was successful, that I'm not grasping for anything else. I'm allowing myself to process this energy. And it isn't this clean. You don't go through life and you pick them all off. It actually is a very gradual process. And I want to share with you that what you start to do then is to find the energy, the states of being where it feels good. Because we are meant to trust life, to trust yourself. What else can we do? We can feel safe in our bodies. This was important to me because I had seen people get angry, and I had seen that their behavior was harmful. And so for me, it was like, I don't think it's safe to feel anger. It is safe to feel anger. Actually, you need to do it. It's a way of how are you going to behave knowing that you're angry. And it's a good idea to let the anger process through. You can do the I release anger meditative movement, and then you could go to the I am safe meditative movement. Because then it's like, what does it feel to know that you're safe in your body? Feeling grateful, grateful for life. And this is important to me because I was thinking life was against me instead of being grateful, and I can experience life knowing that I'm powerful. You are powerful. In this moment is where your power is, and we need to learn how to quit giving it away. Being intuitive. Life wants you to be here. You're here. And to really be in tune with life and say, what is it? How can I serve others? What can I give others? It really involves you knowing that you are valuable, right? That you are perfect, whole, and complete. And that you can move through life giving and receiving so that we can have a world where people feel free to be themselves. Where does it belong? It's gonna go there with ideally that you feel love. I believe love is all around us. It's the conditioning that we've had. It's people telling us things. This technique is really about you experiencing love for yourself so that you can give it to others. So that you can let your perfect, whole, and completeness shine. You understand that you can be grateful, trusting, all of these things. And when a weight comes your way, like fear, you can say, oh, it's out here. I don't need to let it back into my body, into my mind. And we let it be wherever it came from. So I invite you to check out my meditative movements. There's videos on the website that you can practice. This is why I created the technique. I've been very successful quitting smoking, maintaining a healthy weight. I've been able to graduate from college, which is exciting for me, to have 6 grandchildren now, the 3 kids I have good relationships with, as well as learning to enjoy life, to let that fear really go so that I can do awesome things like go on adventures in Africa. I can be with people and to enjoy their company. And so life is for us. May you enjoy it, and perhaps meditative movements can be part of your recovery program. Thank you.